This lesson is on decision making, anger management.
At some point in life, every human being feels angry. Anger is usually a healthy and normal emotion, but for some, it can get out of control and become destructive. Uncontrolled anger can lead to failed relationships, loss of employment, and physical illness. It can also cause hurt feelings, frustration, annoyance, harassment, aggression, disappointment, and threats. This lesson is designed to help you understand the nature of anger and how to manage it.
This lesson's essential question: how can you manage anger using healthy strategies? I would like you to think about this as we go through this lesson.
I'd like you to think about things that have made you angry in the last week and how you responded to that anger. Anger is a common reaction to being emotionally hurt or physically harmed. Anger can come from an event that affects you in a harmful way. On the other hand, it can be internal, like when you expect to hit the game-winning home run but strike out. In this case, you may feel both anger and sadness. Anger for missing the pitch you should have hit out of the park, and sadness for letting your team down when you could have won the big game. All right, first question. Anger is blank. Is it a unhealthy reaction to conflict, a common healthy reaction to being emotionally hurt or physically harmed, or always a destructive reaction? It is, of course, a common healthy reaction to being emotionally hurt or physically harmed.
We will prepare for this lesson by discussing the key questions of the student learning plan. What will you accomplish in this lesson? Develop personal anger management strategies. Why is this lesson important? Anger is a natural human emotion experienced by everyone at some time or another. When an argument or disagreement turns violent, someone has allowed his or her anger to get out of control. Most people can think of situations where they did or said something in anger that they later regretted. Learning to manage anger is an important part of growing into a responsible, successful adult. It is also a very important part of managing conflict to avoid tragic outcomes. In this lesson, you will apply strategies for managing anger.
This week's learning objectives: describe common causes of anger, identify physical effects of anger, examine possible reactions to anger, distinguish healthy from unhealthy reactions to anger, describe healthy anger management strategies, define keywords: aggression, which is a tendency to be hostile or quarrelsome, anger management, learning to control and manage the emotion of anger, managing your anger so it comes out in a healthy and constructive way, assertion, the ability to clearly communicate personal thoughts and feelings, change orientation, recognition of the need to make personal changes by expanding skills and improving relationships, deference, the degree to which a person uses a communication style or pattern that is indirect and effectual for accurate expression of thought and feeling, empathy, the ability to sense, understand, and accept another person's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, passive aggressive behavior, getting back at people indirectly without telling them why rather than confronting them, suppress, to prevent or restrain expression of feelings or ideas. Think about things that have made you angry in the last week and how you responded to that anger. You've probably met someone who is more hot-headed than others. This person gets angry more easily than others and is more intense than the average person. There are also those who don't show their anger by raising their voice but are irritable and grumpy. Easily angered people don't always yell and throw things. Sometimes they withdraw socially, sulk, or get physically ill. People who are easily angered can't take things in stride. They're particularly infuriated if the situation seems somehow unjust, such as being corrected for a minor mistake. So why do some people get angrier than others? Genetics may have something to do with it. There is evidence that some children are born irritable, touchy, and easily angered, and that these signs are present from a very early age. Another reason may be sociocultural, where anger is looked at as a negative emotion. To those who aren't taught it is perfectly normal to express anger in a healthy way, don't learn how to handle it or channel it constructively. To deal with and manage anger, it is best to find out what triggers angry feelings and then to develop strategies to keep those triggers from tipping you over the edge. I'd like you to think about how anger affects you. Similar to other emotions, anger is usually accompanied by a physiological and biological change. When you get angry, your heart rate and blood pressure go up, as do the levels of energy hormones, adrenaline and noradrenaline. This slide shows some of the physical symptoms of anger, which include headaches, increased heart rate and blood pressure, respiratory disorders, gastrointestinal disorders, and skin disorders. Did you get a payoff the last time you got angry? Did other people give you what you wanted because you were louder, tougher, stronger, and could intimidate them? This question reflects your character and self-esteem. For many, the natural way to express anger is to respond in an aggressive manner. Anger is an adaptive response to threats that can inspire powerful and aggressive feelings and behaviors. These feelings allow humans to fight and defend themselves when attacked. When faced with survival, a certain amount of anger is healthy and necessary. However, lashing out at nearly every person or event that causes you to feel angry isn't appropriate or productive. The three main approaches to managing anger are expressing, suppressing, and calming. Expressing your angry feelings in an assertive, non-aggressive manner is the healthiest way. To do this, you have to learn how to make clear what your needs are and how to get them met without emotionally or physically hurting others. Being assertive doesn't mean being pushy or demanding. It means being respectful to yourself and others. Unexpressed anger can create other serious problems. It can lead to pathological expression of anger, such as passive-aggressive behavior, or a personality that seems cynical and hostile. People who are consistently putting others down, criticizing everything, and making cynical comments haven't learned how to constructively express their anger. Suppressing. Anger can be suppressed and then converted or redirected. This happens when you hold in your anger, stop thinking about it, and focus on something positive. The aim is to inhibit or suppress your anger and convert it into a more constructive behavior. However, the danger in this type of response is that by not allowing outward expression, your anger can turn inward on yourself. Anger turned inward may cause hypertension, high blood pressure, ulcers, or depression. Calming. Another method for controlling anger is to calm yourself down inside. This means not just controlling your outward behavior, but also controlling your internal response. Taking steps to lower your heart rate, calming yourself down, and letting feelings subside.
Here are some steps you can take to calm yourself when you feel angry. Breathe deeply and stay calm. If needed, excuse yourself from the situation that made you angry until you are ready to address what made you angry. Focus on exactly what made you angry. Sometimes it is just one thing. Think of words to express your true feelings. Tell the other person in a calm way how you feel, and explain what it was that caused you to feel this way. Avoid criticism, threats, or placing blame. Tell the person what you expect from him or her in the future.
Next question. Physical reactions to anger include blank. Is it decreased heart rate and blood pressure, fatigue, or headaches? As we just discussed, physical reactions to anger include headaches. The three main approaches to managing anger are expressing, suppressing, and blank. Is it calming, asserting, or empathizing? The answer is calming. If you are really angry at someone, it is best to blank. Is it keep it to yourself and avoid a conflict, yell and get it out of your system, or calm yourself until you can express what's bothering you without causing a conflict? It is best to calm yourself until you can express what is bothering you without causing a conflict. Think about healthy and unhealthy reactions to anger. Anger management reduces your emotional feelings and the physiological changes that anger causes. You can't get rid of or avoid the events, objects, or people that make you angry, nor can you change them. However, you can learn to control your reactions to them. Anger is normal and a universal emotion that everyone experiences from time to time. When you are angry, you experience strong feelings that can propel you into inappropriate or destructive behavior. Anger, if left unchecked, can easily spiral out of control and lead to violence. Your response to anger, however, is completely within your control. Mastering the techniques of anger management will help you keep calm in a tense situation and avoid violence. Anger management skills must be practiced throughout your lifetime. After you have gained control over your anger, you can work towards resolving conflict in a nonviolent way. In thinking about how to deal with anger, look at emotional skills, personal style, and orientation. You may not think there's much skill involved with your emotions, you just have them. But managing those emotions in a healthy way requires skills. These skills include empathy. Empathy is an important skill for people who are good communicators. Stress management. People who are good at managing their stress in a positive way know how to manage their time. They are flexible, self-assured, stable, and self-reliant. Good stress management skills are important to a healthy life. How do you usually communicate with others? Are you easygoing until things don't go your way? Do you back off if someone argues with you? Most people use different styles of communication in different situations and with different people. See if you can guess which of the styles is most productive for coping with anger. Aggression. Someone who communicates aggressively overpowers, violates, dominates, or even discredits others' thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. People with this style of communication can be defensive and uncompromising in groups. Assertion. If you are skilled at interpersonal assertion, you are able to be direct and honest with others. You can express your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors appropriately without offending others or making yourself seem more important than others. Deference. This style of communication is indirect, self-inhibiting, and ineffectual for the accurate expression of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Someone who uses deference a lot may have a hard time standing up for themselves or others. The change orientation aspect of your personality indicates your awareness and recognition for the need to expand your skills, improve relationships, and develop greater personal strengths.
Next, we're going to complete exercise 1, reacting to anger. From the dashboard of our cadet portfolio, we're going to select Smart Anger Management right here. Then we're going to scroll down and select exercise 1, reacting to anger. Okay, read each of the scenarios below and identify how the person is reacting to anger. Based on what we just learned, we're going to determine whether the person is acting with aggression, assertion, or deference. Okay, so Bob is in line at the sandwich shop. A stranger tries to cut in front of him. Bob pushes him out of the way. Is that aggression, assertion, or deference? And we're going to go through each one of these scenarios and select one of those techniques. Then we're going to make sure we mark as complete, scroll back to the top, and select Save.
Think about your plans for managing anger. There are several ways you can manage your anger and express it in a positive and constructive manner, and end up with the results you want. These strategies include learning to relax, changing the way you think, solving problems, and learning to communicate better. Relaxation techniques can include deep breathing and relaxing imagery. It can help to breathe deeply from your diaphragm while slowly repeating to yourself a calming word or phrase such as easy does it or relax. You can also use relaxing imagery, such as a relaxing experience from your memory to calm yourself down. Try to imagine a calming picture in your head, maybe a day at the beach or listening to your favorite music, to help you get your emotions under control. Learn to use these techniques whenever you are in a stressful or tense situation. As a general rule, angry people swear or speak in highly colorful terms that reflects their inner thoughts. When you're angry, your thinking can become exaggerated and dramatic, and you may tend to see situations as absolutes. try to avoid using words such as never or always when talking about yourself, someone else, or a specific situation. Instead of thinking the situation is terrible and your life is ruined, try telling yourself that the situation is annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Keep in the front of your mind that getting angry is not going to fix anything, that it won't make you feel better, and that it may actually make you feel worse. Sometimes anger and frustration are caused by real problems. Not all anger is misplaced and is often a healthy and natural response to difficulties. Many people believe that every problem has a solution, and it can add to your frustration to find out that this isn't always true. In situations that seem unsolvable, the best attitude to bring is not to focus on finding the solution, but rather on how to face the problem. Make a plan and check your progress along the way. Resolve to give it your best, but also not to punish yourself if the answer doesn't come right away. If you can approach it with your best intentions and efforts and make a serious attempt to face it head on, you will be less likely to lose patience and fall into an all or nothing thinking, even if the problem does not get solved right away. Communicating aggressively, yelling or putting others down, is not a healthy way to communicate. It often makes the situation worse. Differential communication is also not the best. It makes sense in some situations. For example, if you are stopped for speeding, you should defer to the police officer. Don't argue about the speed limit. But in many cases, differential communication can mask or suppress your anger. It can take the place of healthy self-assertion and trigger more inner anger. Communicating assertively is the key. Assertive communication is a positive way of talking with people and clearly expressing thoughts and feelings in a way that promotes understanding, caring, and respect. A person who communicates assertively respects the rights of others. It enables a person to communicate effectively even during difficult situations that involve strong and intense emotions. When you use empathy in an angry situation, you blank. Is it try to understand what the other person is feeling and thinking? Express yourself directly without offending others, or keep your feelings and thoughts to yourself. The answer is A. Try to understand what the other person is feeling and thinking. Relaxation is a healthy way to manage anger because it blank. Is it can make others think you are cool-headed and unflappable, distracts you from the problem at hand, or helps you get emotions under control in a tense situation? The answer is helps you get your emotions under control in a tense situation. Blank communication can trigger more inner anger. Is it deferential, assertive, or aggressive? The answer is deferential. I'd like you to think about which anger management strategies work well in different situations. When you're confronted with an angry person in a heated discussion or an argument, try these steps. Slow down. Think before you speak and listen to the other person. Don't say the first thing that comes into your head, but rather think carefully about what you want to say. At the same time, listen carefully to what the other person is saying and take your time before answering. When you do speak, use calm and non-threatening manner. Try to keep it from becoming defensive and saying something that will cause the situation to escalate. Use empathy. Many times, if you show empathy towards an angry person's concern, listen carefully, and share that person's feelings, you can help to calm that person and get a volatile situation under control. By remaining calm and staying focused on what you're hearing as well as how you want to respond, you can manage the angry situation much better than just flying off the handle. True or false? When you're angry with someone, you should let the person know immediately and say the first thing that comes to your head. Is it true or false? The answer is false. What is the definition of the term anger management? Is it a tendency to be hostile or quarrelsome? A reflection of satisfaction or dissatisfaction with current emotional skills or abilities? The ability to clearly communicate personal thoughts and feelings? Or learning to control and manage the emotion of anger, managing your anger so it comes out in healthy and constructive ways? The answer is learning to control and manage the emotion of anger, managing your anger so it comes out in healthy and constructive ways. What is the definition of the word assertion? Is it a tendency to be hostile or quarrelsome? Learning to control and manage the emotion of anger, managing your anger so it comes out in healthy and constructive ways. A reflection of satisfaction or dissatisfaction with the current emotional skills or abilities. Or the ability to clearly communicate a person's thoughts and feelings. The answer is the ability to clearly communicate personal thoughts and feelings. Blank is the recognition of the need to make personal changes by expanding skills and improving relationships. Is it passive-aggressive behavior, deference, change orientation, or suppression? The answer is change orientation. Blank is the ability to sense, understand, and accept another person's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Is it empathy, deference, passive-aggressive behavior, or suppression? The answer is, of course, empathy. Passive-aggressive behavior is blank. Is it getting back at people indirectly without telling them why, rather than confronting them? Being quiet, then yelling? Doing nothing, then starting a fist fight? Or using assertion in an aggressive way? It is getting back at people indirectly without telling them why, rather than confronting them.
Next, we're going to complete the anger management map from the Emotional Intelligence Program. We're going to use this to determine what skills you need to enhance to manage your anger effectively. Today we're going to go back to the Conover Online that we've used in the past. The link is above the video if your instructor has not posted it. We're going to go ahead and sign in. And then you'll see that you have anger management here as an option. So we're going to select that, and then we're going to select the program. Okay, we're going to go through the anger management program. Again, all of this is stuff that we've already read. Okay, directions, read each item and select the answer that best applies to one area of your life at school or work. The answer choices are most of the time, some of the time, and least of the time. And we're going to go through and answer these questions as honestly as we can. Once you reach the end of the assessment, it's going to give you this congratulations screen. You're going to select finish. And then you're going to go over here and select completed, view report, print download PDF, and then you're going to select save and find a place on your desktop or wherever you want to save it, and you will upload it to another spot later. Next, we are going to complete the anger management performance assessment task. In our cadet portfolio, from the dashboard, we're going to select Smart Anger Management. We're going to scroll down and we're going to select the performance assessment task. Okay. For this performance assessment task, you will create a written anger management action plan using the SMART process. For this assessment, you will think about what you have learned in this lesson about managing anger. Review the results of your anger management map that we just did, and the skills you need to improve to manage your anger more effectively. Develop an anger management plan of ways you will try to improve your anger management skills. Use resources from this lesson if you need a refresher on the steps for the SMART process. Okay, so right here on our attach media, we're going to attach our anger management map. And then we can either, again, use a Google Doc or a Word document. Again, we can attach that here, or we can simply write our anger management plan in our notes. Once we're done, we're going to select Met for all of these. Make sure that we put in the date, mark as complete, scroll back up to the top, and select Save.
This brings us back to our essential question. How can you manage anger using healthy strategies? I hope that we've answered that question at least a little bit. In conclusion, anger is a normal and healthy emotion, and it needs to be expressed. Learning how to constructively express anger and how to manage it is a skill that will benefit you throughout your entire life. You can use a variety of techniques covered in this lesson, from relaxation to better communication. But if these methods don't work for you, counseling is a good and healthy option.